Good day.
We are the grade 12 STEM of Angel John Integrated Academy.
This video was made by the Zonta Club of AJIA as our participation for Zonta's 16 Days of Activism. We titled this video, Caring for the Environment, Renewable Energy to Reduce Carbon Footprints. Let's start.
We live in the world where nothing is permanent except change. The climate has been changing for a long time because of human activity, but we only became aware of it in the last couple of centuries.
We noticed climatic change and its impact on human life during the last centuries. We started researching climate change and discovered that the Earth's temperature is rising because of a phenomenon known as the greenhouse effect. Traditional energy sources such as coal, gas, and oil are extremely beneficial to a country's economy, but their negative environmental implications have prompted us to use them only to a certain capacity, and we have shifted our attention to renewable energy resources. Every type of energy has an effect on the environment.
Most methods indicate that fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas do far more harm than renewable energy, such as air and water pollution, public health damage, wildlife and habitat loss, water use, land use, and global warming emission. Renewable energy will become a major source of electricity in the near future, as well as will be able to reuse these resources to produce useful energy time after time. Energy and environmental issues are inextricably linked because it is nearly impossible to produce, transport, or consume energy without having a significant environmental impact.
The principal source of urban air pollution is the production of air pollutants from the combustion fossils, fuels, air pollution, climate change, water pollution, thermal pollution, and solid waste disposal are environmental issues directly related to energy generation and consumption.
As developing countries ramp up with their energy sources and address energy poverty, renewable energy is becoming more popular alternative to fossil fuel energy. Solar energy, wind power, geothermal energy, and biomass are all abundant renewable energy sources in most developing countries, as is the ability to build the rather labor-intensive systems that harness them. Developing countries can lessen their reliance on oil and natural gas by developing such energy sources, resulting in energy portfolios that are less vulnerable to price increases. These investments may be less expensive than fossil fuel energy systems in many cases.
Approximately 40% of global CO2 emissions are emitted from electricity generation through the combustion of fossil fuels to generate heat needed to power steam turbines.
According to PAG-ASA, climate change is already taking place. The evidence indicates that the change cannot be explained only by natural variation. The most recent scientific analyses have confirmed that the observing rise in greenhouse gas concentration from human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels and land use change is most likely due to human activities and thus is due to the observed warming of the climate system since the mid-20th century. Its negative effects are already being felt, and if nothing is done to curb greenhouse gas emission, they will become exponentially worse over time.
What is carbon footprint?
A carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, that are generated by our actions. The average carbon footprint for a person in the United States is 16 tons, one of the highest rates in the world.
Ito yung total emissions ng carbon dioxide, CO2, na niluwa or ibinuga ng mga power plants. Tinawag siyang carbon footprint para makalculate ang kabuuang emissions in a period, like a month, 1 year, etc.
How does carbon footprint affect the environment?
Our carbon footprint has a negative impact on environment in multiple ways. It is the main cause of human-induced climate change. It contributes to urban air pollution. It leads to toxic acid rain. It adds to the coastal and ocean acidification, and it worsens the melting of glaciers and polar ice.
Energy produced through burning of fossil fuels emit carbon dioxide and other gases which are causes of global warming.
What is renewable energy?
Renewable energy, often referred to as a clean energy, comes from natural sources or processes that are constantly replenished. For example, sunlight or wind keep shining and blowing, even if their availability depends on the time and weather.
They can never be depleted. Some examples of renewable energy sources are solar energy, wind energy, hydropower, geothermal energy, and biomass energy.
For me, renewable energy is yung mga energy that is replenished. Right? It's an energy collected to use of technologies or mechanisms that transforms yung mga natural energies into electrical energies. Okay, yung mga samples nito or mga sources nito is sunlight, yung mga tides, yung air, yung wind, even geothermal.
How do renewable energy sources help to control the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere?
Generate electricity without emissions. Because they do not burn fossil fuels, these renewable energy sources do not release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere as they generate electricity. Nuclear energy also creates no greenhouse gas emissions, so it can be thought of as a solution to climate change.
Basically, the energy produced by RE plants except for biomass, biogas, which has carbon footprint, offset the energy being produced by conventional method, hence lesser carbon emission. Also for hydropower project, it will require the reforestation of the watersheds. Forest-grown vegetation will produce oxygen gas that would help slow down global
What are the
warming.
advantages of using renewable energy to reduce carbon footprint?
Here are some advantages and benefits of using renewable energy to reduce carbon footprint. Environmental and economic benefits of using renewable energy include generating energy that produce no greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuels and reduce some types of air pollution, diversifying energy supply and reducing dependence on imported fuels.
Renewables and energy efficiency, boosted by substantial electrification, can provide over 90% of the necessary reductions in energy-related carbon emissions. Increasing the use of electricity sourced from renewable presents the best opportunity to accelerate the world's energy transformation.
RE has a great role in reducing carbon footprint because it doesn't emit carbon dioxide or CO2. Solar power plants generate electricity using sunlight as its source. Hydropower plants generate electricity using water as its source. Thermal power plants generate electricity using heat from dormant or inactive volcanoes. So all of them don't release or emit carbon dioxide. Philippines is the second highest in electric billing in Asia. Philippines is abundant with natural source of energy. We have lots of rivers for hydropower plants. We have locations with constant wind or wind turbines. We have plenty of dormant or inactive volcanoes for thermal plants. We are located near the equator for a steady supply of sunlight for solar power plants. Please note that there are countries that don't have sunlight in a number of months. So we are lucky to have those natural resources.
The Philippines is one of the first countries to be affected by climate change. It is one of the world's most vulnerable countries to climate disasters. It will be severely impacted by prolonged global warming. At the same time, despite historical low GHG emission, the country is trapped to see huge rises in emission unless aggressive mitigation measures are done.
Energy consumption is a significant input for socio-economic development and drives economic growth. Clean energy is regarded essential for modern living and a requirement for the smooth operation of all industry sectors.
The Philippines energy sector is faced by two problems: a strong reliance on fossil fuels and imported energy, and a high demand for energy. In the last 10 years, the average of annual growth rate of the Philippines gross domestic product has been 5.4%, with the government aiming for a 7% growth rate by 2040. Greater energy demand is expected as a result of predicted higher GDP growth.
Green hydrogen as an energy carrier and fuel is a vital part of achieving climate goals through comprehensive decarbonization. Because of the availability of renewable energy sources, the Philippines has a considerable potential for green hydrogen generation. The Philippine government's decision to use green or renewable hydrogen as an additional renewable energy source to achieve continuous economic growth by 2040 through the adoption of innovative technologies while ensuring ecological integrity, health, and clean environment could not be more timely or important. The Philippines, which is one of the countries most vulnerable to climate change, is considered reducing its promise to cut carbon emissions under the historic Paris Climate Pact. The Philippines stated in its 2015 intended nationally determined contributions that it wanted to reduce emissions by 70% by 2030 compared to its business as usual scenario. In the agriculture, trash, industrial, transportation, forestry, and energy sectors, the Philippines pledges to a project GHG emission reduction and avoidance of 30% by 2040 compared to its business as usual scenario. Action Klima, Philippine Movement for Climate Justice, Youth Strike for Climate Philippines, Green Convergence, Green Thumb Coalition, and Alianza Tigil Mina are among of the organizations involved.
A current study looks into the Philippines' likely emission pathways and mitigation potential in three sectors: transportation, home electricity, and power generation. If nothing is done about climate change, emission from these industries might increase by roughly 500% between 2015 and 2050.
In comparison, a small number of choices in these industries have the potential to reduce emissions considerably, with roughly a 70% reduction by 2050 compared to business as usual. Furthermore, the majority of the reduction comes at a negative or negligible direct cost. When you consider that several of these possibilities offer significant co-benefit, it's clear that the Philippines has a lot to gain from a low-carbon route.
It is now the right time to start using renewable energy to our daily lives.
According to studies, there is great amount of renewable energy in the Philippines. The energy distribution are coal 47%, RE 9.4%, oil-based 4.4%, natural gas 39%.
Transitioning into renewable energy may be costly at first, but will be more convenient and efficient in the long run, as there will be unlimited energy resources.
Here are some of the recommendations that may be done to help reduce carbon footprint.
For students, they may start now reducing carbon footprint and use renewable energy and be role model to their fellow students. They may be also study and know more about renewable energy so they can help reducing carbon footprint using renewable energy.
For parents, they may teach their children on how to reduce carbon footprint using renewable energy.
For teachers, they may be educate more their students on how to reduce carbon footprint using renewable energy. They may be also teach their students to reduce carbon footprint, especially nowadays.
For future researchers, they may be broaden their scope of study so they can gain more information in reducing carbon footprint using renewable energy. They may also interview more experts in renewable energy.
We hope that you learned something from us through this video.
We hope that this will bring light that our environment needs help now. Thank you.